Good afternoon, Onefootballers, and welcome to another episode of Team Talk, where we dissect the goings-on at all sorts of different clubs. And today, it's a pretty special one for me, I'm not going to lie. We're on the line with Flav to talk everything Tottenham Hotspur, all the things going on at their stadium, which may or may not be opening soon. Flav, how are you doing?
Very well, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Stadium's probably a good place to start of any of Spurs' apparent problems. We'll get onto that in a minute. What do you make of this whole thing? Have we been lied to, or is it more? Is there more than what it seems, or is it just simply a case of it wasn't quite ready?
I don't think we've been lied to. I think they had every intention of opening the stadium when they said they wanted to. It doesn't benefit Spurs by having a delay at all. I'm sure they're as frustrated as the Spurs fans are with the fact that the stadium isn't open yet. I think they genuinely thought that they'd be able to do it in a year. But you look at the size of the project and how big that stadium is now. I mean, you go down there and it's insane how big it is. It's going to be incredible when it opens, but it seemed insanely optimistic to get that done within one season, essentially, one calendar year.
That. It always surprised me massively. Like, how do you plan to knock that down and 1 year later have it done?
They had this method, didn't they? Of originally, they were going to knock down a quarter of the stadium and kind of build throughout the season, but it didn't become possible. There was something going went along with the planning and logistics of that, and then we were at this situation where they had to completely dismantle the stadium and then build on it, and it just. I think we was always optimistic, but it became apparent within the beginning of this year that there were major issues, and it's not just the electrics, although that's what's been reported. The fact there was issues with the electrics and circuits there, but the changing rooms are not even ready yet. So I don't know when it's going to open. I have no idea. I'm sure the club won't give any kind of deadline again because they don't want to be have the rug pulled from underneath them again. So. I'm pretty sure that as soon as they're ready to let us know, that's when they will. It won't be any sooner.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty exciting. I was always one of these fans who never quite understood the whole stadium bit, the whole home away from home, and all this kind of. I thought that the players would be easily able to block it out of their mind. However, I've slowly now that it's my team doing it, I've slowly sort of come around to the idea that it is different from playing at White Hart Lane. Considering how unbelievable Spurs played in that last season at White Hart Lane, 16-17, not losing a game, winning 17 and drawing 2. That's right. To go into Wembley, despite obviously a really good season last year, it definitely plays a massive difference. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And you look at what we done at Wembley last year, it was an incredible feat, really, to finish in the top 4 again. And not have a home ground. It was a testament to Pochettino, and we know what a great manager he is. But a testament to his skill and his back staff and the players to get on with it. That said, it's a bit Spursy, the fact that we had this incredible season at White Hart Lane. We were unbeaten, unstoppable. Really, we were so good that season, and the White Hart Lane was a fortress in every sense of the word. And it's just our luck that we had to leave. For the first time, pretty much the first time in our history. Leaving the ground when we've never played better there. So it is what it is. It was a shame, but we've got to look forward now. It's been done. The stadium's nearly being opened, and it's about building a new home at White Hart Lane again. And it will take time, but I think the actual, if anything, if you look at it optimistically, the season played at Wembley is actually a good preparation for moving into a new ground. Because we didn't really see many ill effects. We weren't as good as we were at White Hart Lane, but we played very well at Wembley over the last 18 months or so. So I think that transition into the new stadium will be much smoother than it would have been if we hadn't played so long at Wembley.
Yeah, I guess. And look, if we're ever lucky enough to return to an FA Cup semi-final, then hopefully we'll have a bit more experience and won't get beaten by Chelsea or someone like that. Yeah. But I wanted to pick up on one point you said there about Pochettino being a good manager. Now, if Twitter and social media is to be believed, then it's Pochettino out. And I've seen a lot of nonsense all over the social media feed. Maybe it's me following the wrong people. But of all this, he's not good enough and some of the players not being good enough. Dyer's coming for a lot of criticism. What do you think of Pochettino with the squad? We'll talk about the whole transfer window and he wasn't backed in a minute. But in terms of Pochettino being able to take this squad to the next level at the moment, what have we got within the squad?
Well, to answer your question about Pochettino being able to take us forward, I think Pochettino with Man City squad or Chelsea squad or Man United squad even would win the league.
Yeah.
would be in a great shout. Spurs are at a disadvantage because we don't have the squads that these other teams do have. So to say that Pochettino should be removed from his job at Spurs is incredibly naive and stupid. I think you mentioned social media then. I think social media plays a massive role in sport and in football especially, and everything that we do as well as content creators. But if you want to really enjoy football, then use social media less, certainly around match days, because people just use it to spew whatever frustrations they have without really thinking about it so that they feel a little bit better. So, anyone who wants Pochettino out, their opinion isn't worth listening to. That would be absolute madness. Any club in the world would be happy to have him. He's done wonders within the limitations that have been put before him. And, he will continue to progress and do great things.
So what about then within the squad sort of moving forward? I mean, can you make Harry Kane much better is what a question first off. But is he still going to be able to push on with the guys he's got if it's going to be something a bit disastrous for Spurs, if they don't have another good transfer window, if they fail to find who they want to buy in January or even next summer, can he still progress with this squad? I'm thinking of Harry Winks and the like coming through.
Yeah, I think Pochettino believes in the squad. I think the reason, if you listen to the club and what the Tottenham Hotspur board said in their meeting with the supporters' trust this week, is that the decision for us not to sign anyone in the summer was Pochettino's. So he said we can't find, for the kind of players that we've got and the money we have, we can't find the players that are going to improve. One of the biggest indicators about a successful football club is how active they are in the transfer market. The history would suggest, Man City, if they want to win the league, or Chelsea want to challenge the league, or Arsenal want to get back into the top four, you spend accordingly. And Spurs haven't done that. Now we might be seeing a different model here at Tottenham, where we go think about the transfer market. I mean, a much more pragmatic approach, which would be music to Daniel Levy's ears. But the fact is that we can significantly improve now, I think. The problem is the players that we can get in or would like to get in are also players that Barcelona want and Man United want.
Yeah.
You look at Ligt at Ajax. Barcelona and Man United want him, and they also want Toby Alderweireld. So that's what we're up against, really. So it's about getting those players through the door or to the point where Pochettino can convince them that Spurs is the right place for them. And if you look at the sort of progression of some of the players we had, you talk about Harry Winks coming through now, but before him, Danny Rose, Kyle Walker, he turned those two players into world-level wing-backs. And Kyle Walker wouldn't be playing at Man City without Pochettino. So if he can demonstrate that to players like Ligt and there's a French midfielder that we're linked with, I can't remember his name, it's just gone.
Ndombele in the national team. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's about convincing these players to come, because we will develop their career and they will one day get their move to a super club. So it's his job to do that, and if he doesn't, then he will have failed. But it's too early.
Do you think that's kind of the way you put it across there makes complete sense? But it's almost like we've got two options of signing, because signing Ndombele or signing De Ligt or signing someone like that when they're already on Barcelona and Manchester United's radar is obviously more difficult. The money that can be offered to them, the money that can be thrown around in transfer fees as well. However, at the point of signing a 16 or 18-year-old Danny Rose and Kyle Walker, United and Barcelona weren't interested in them then. So do we have to take the risks on the smaller ones? Like Dele Alli, for example, we signed him. Apparently he was going to move to Liverpool as well. I think at the time, 3 or 4 years ago, Liverpool probably had the edge on us in terms of offering what they can offer to a player. But we were still on a level playing field. So bringing in someone at a younger age, but also not as well known, and then bringing them through, is that going to be the Spurs model? Or would you rather see that we go out and just say, you know what, here's 60, 70, 80 million?
I think it needs to be a combination of the both. I trust Spurs' transfer market policies. There's a few stinkers there. Janssen,
I was going to say, he's straight off the top.
Sissoko, I would still argue, and could do as well, just not good enough, not at the level. But there are other instances like the ones you mentioned, like Dele Alli, where he was quality. Everyone knew he was going to be quality, but he's a resurgence to our first team, and how good he's been since then has been incredible. But then you look at Davinson Sanchez. Now he was on Barcelona's radar. They wanted him, and he came to Tottenham because I think he saw a clearer progression to first team football at Tottenham. There's not to say that if Sanchez progresses over the next 2 years, that Barcelona won't come in and try and buy him from us. But he would be infinitely more expensive than he was for Tottenham. You remember, he was signed for £42 million. He'd be on good money at Spurs, and it's going to cost Barcelona a huge amount to get him now. At Ajax, if I was him, if I wanted to look at the progression and look at my career, Spurs would be a perfect next club for him. Look at the examples of Luka Modric, Dimitar Berbatov, even Michael Carrick. They've all come through Tottenham and gone on to do other things. Gareth Bale as well. So from a player's perspective, this is not how I like to look at my football club, to be fair, to be a stepping stone to
a selling club.
Major club. But it is what it is. You can't deny it. So if I'm Ligt, if I'm, if I'm a player of significant quality but I can be developed, then Spurs and Pochettino is a great example and a great place to do that. And I think that's our ace card if we're going after these targets.
Yeah, no, for sure. But so if, and we hate to use the word because selling club, again, makes you sound like a complete stepping stone. What do you think we can do with the players that are in the club then, or that Spurs can do, to kind of keep the ones they've got there, to avoid the likes of Ali, Eriksen, Kane, even Sanchez, just using Spurs as a stepping stone? Moving into the new stadium was a great bargaining chip. For, the beginning of the summer, Kane signed a new deal, Lloris signed a new deal. There are a few who are yet to sign a new deal. But it was a good card to have. It was the new stadium was coming up. Champions League football. Significant investment in the squad could be a good chip to play if we actually do it. But what happens if these guys were to leave, if they were to realise their potential? Could Spurs be on a massive downturn?
I can't see that happening. We did the right thing, and we are doing the right thing in keeping these players at clubs by getting them signed up to significant contracts, especially the younger ones, which puts Spurs in a very powerful position. Now, it's not the one that we can prevent a player from leaving if someone like Barcelona or Real Madrid come in for him. We can't. If someone comes in for Eriksen, it's very difficult for us to stop him leaving, but we secure him to a contract that's long and he's well paid without any release clauses, then we're in a good position because it means that Tottenham are an incredibly expensive club to buy from. And often it'll be better for Barcelona to go to Ajax and get De Ligt than it would be to come to Tottenham and try and buy Davinson Sanchez. Even if perhaps the potential for the two is perhaps higher for De Ligt, I don't know, but that might be the case. So Spurs are a difficult club to buy from, and that means that it's never going to be a case where there's a complete run on our players and our squad. But yeah, you're right. We have to match our ambition, I think, in order to keep the players at Tottenham. I think that ultimately it all comes down to Pochettino, though, is if he is at our football club and he's managing our side, then we don't have much to worry about. I think we can lose players and still maintain our place in the league just because of the fact that he's there and he will continue to develop the young players as they come through. Yeah,
I think it's almost a catch-22 because you want to attract the big players, but you can attract the big players by having the big players in the first place. Because there's no doubt that some guys will want to join because they get to play alongside Eriksen, Ali, Kane and all the others in the first place. But then to draw them in, you've got to have them, if you get what I mean. So losing them, I think in the transfer market as well, losing a bargaining chip, it could be... I wouldn't say it could be terrible. As you said, Pochettino at the helm, I don't think anything's terrible. But it could be a significant blow to... I mean, certainly is what the best Tottenham squad I've seen in my lifetime, and I'm sure yours as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would be a blow, but it's football, isn't it? I mean, you lose players don't. And you mentioned Spurs being a selling club. All clubs are. Only Real Madrid don't use their players. Yeah, everyone's got a price. Yeah. And Real Madrid are the only ones I can think don't really lose their players unless they want to. Ronaldo, his situation is very odd at the moment. We don't need to go into that, but I think there's a reason why Real Madrid agreed to let him go. And in Barcelona lost Neymar to PSG. So there's no such thing as a club that won't sell or doesn't sell its players. So Spurs are in that situation in the same way as any others. And I think we're an attractive prospect. And I think the fact that we didn't spend in the summer, even though the stadium's costing lots of money, puts us in a good position in January, because surely there's transfer money there. Levy himself, again, in the meeting with the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust this week, has said that the transfer budget is not affected by the stadium. It's ring-fenced completely and it will have no impact. So there is money to spend at Spurs. And like I say, hopefully we can get the players in that keep players like Harry Kane. and Dele Alli in the.
So if there's money to spend and we're keeping the guys, very quickly, one name, who do you bring in? It's a tough one.
Do you know what? Honestly, I like Loftus-Cheek. I'd love to see him at Tottenham. I
Big fan, yeah.
There's an opportunity there with him. He's not in the England squad. He's been usurped at Chelsea and England by Ross Barkley. I don't know if they'll sell to us.
Yeah,
There's always a way, but I think he'd be incredible at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see the Ligt from Ajax.
Yeah.
I think we can have issues in the midfield, in the defence, because Alderweireld is going to be going next year.
Yeah,
I think.
No, absolutely. Well, I have the feeling we could keep on going forever. We may have to come back to this in a few months' time to see where Spurs are at. But Flav, thanks so much for joining me, mate. It's been great to talk to you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers. So that's all from us today, guys. Make sure you click here to check out all the other videos we've got going on OneFootball, including loads more team talks and lots of other content. Smash the like button down below and let me know in the comments section who you think Spurs should sign. Until next time, we'll see you later.